So now that we've started PostgreSQL on our local machine and we've connected to it with dbeaver, it's time to connect our actual Spring Boot application to the PostgreSQL database. So the first step in order to achieve that is we need to add some dependencies, and actually those are going to be two dependencies. And in order to get the XML for those dependencies, so basically so we can add them here in the POM, I'm going to go to the Spring initializer and I'm just going to search for data JPA. So that's persist data in SQL stores with Java Persistence API. So this is going to allow us to do that. And then we would need the PostgreSQL driver. So I'm just going to click those two dependencies. And now I'm not going to generate a new project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click the Explore button here. That's going to give us the POM XML. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy those two dependencies. So in this case, that's going to be the data JPA and the PostgreSQL driver. I'm going to copy them and I'm going to come back here to our dependencies and I'm just going to add them here. So as you can see, let me just move the Lombok actually down here. And as you can see what I've done, so I have from previously we've had the Spring Boot Starter web dependency. And now I've added the Spring Boot Starter data JPA dependency and also the driver for PostgreSQL right over here. Now I'm going to click reload on the Maven, or if that doesn't pop out, you can click this reload button here. And now we should have the Spring Boot project prepared to work with the PostgreSQL database. But now what we need to do, now we need to tell the Spring Boot application where is the PostgreSQL database that we are going to connect to. And we do that, we set the connection string in the application configuration file, or in this case in the application properties file. And the syntax for that is, I'm now gonna take it from here and copy it, but basically, and I'm gonna explain what it does. So what I'm gonna do right now here is I'm gonna add the connection string. So the connection string, this is going to be the spring.datasource.url. That's going to be JDBC PostgreSQL running on our local host on port 5432 with the database name Postgres here. This is going to be the database name. The username is Postgres. The password is Postgres. Now this is the connection timeout, and this is the maximum pool size, or the maximum connections that we want to have. And then these two properties here, this is how do we want what do we want to do. So currently it's set to update. So that means that all the models that we're going to create as Java classes, so or the entities, if we do some changes, they're going to get updated to the DB. But more on that, we're going to talk about that later. For now, we're setting it as a configuration option here, update. And the other configuration option, show SQL, this means that the Spring, because this is gonna, the JPA is gonna, if we're gonna get generated from JPA, we're gonna get generated SQL that's gonna be ran on the DB, and this show SQL means that SQL will get shown in the console, so we can see what's happening in the background. So those are the configuration options. Now, if I restart the application, we should connect to the PostgreSQL DB. And now, as you can see, I got a notification for Lombok annotation processing. You can click enable annotation processing on that. But let's just see. So as you can see, what's happening now, it's taking a little longer to start up the application, because what we're doing in the meantime, we are basically connecting to the PostgreSQL DB. So it is starting up the Hikari pool. It's adding a connection for the PostgreSQL DB, and only after that's successful, so that's been successful, it is starting the actual application right here. So now technically we are connected to the DB and we can start working with the DB. And in the next video, we are going to create our first entity. That's going to be the product entity, and we're going to switch out this thing here a little bit. So we're going to create a new entity in the DB, and we're going to be persisting the data from the product list. But that's going to be for the next video. That's all for this video.